Alright. See the file, so we are indeed recording. Oop. When clicking it, I must have just accidentally selected that. So yeah, continuing in Mad Max, the key was originally provided by WB Games. Sorry, no. WBIE. Sorry. You know who I'm referring to, though, and I am thankful for that, because it is a good game. I reviewed it back when it released. That's when I got the key. And as I said, it is a good game. Alright.
I like your work, driver. Keep it up and we're good.
Where do I want... That's actually where I'm supposed to go? Oh, I don't want to do that yet. Alright, thinking do those. Head over into Dry Gusty, work on that. Wait, what is it? Huh, I don't remember that. Well, rather, I don't remember that coming up. Okay, but this is, yeah, this is with a different stronghold. This. You can tell by the yellow. Pink eyes territories, dunes, gut gashes, and jeets. And I'll just, basically keep trying to help out G for now. Why not? On a fast travel there. Okay, so what have I got in the new? Amount on it. Fair amount is AMD stuff. First thing I have up there, they released their quarterly results, and the main thing I put down in the in my notes was that with its data center stuff, it's up 286% in revenue. That's a lot. And I actually pulled up the investor relations page that has it there, and it's like operating income was up 274% year over year. That's impressive. That's a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's AMD's doing very good business, and it makes sense. They do have some very good products. Damn it, I forgot I wasn't on the harpoon.
I'll keep an eye on Hazel.
I mean, obviously the chip shortage situation is not great, but yeah. Oh, tap. Oh, perfect. Oh, you're not dead. We'll be soon.
I don't mean to question your saintly methods, but the angel calls for our holy work to go on.
Next thing that I have is a rumor, which is why when I read it up, and I actually have a third thing that it's technically not a rumor, but the information was taken down. I'll get into that. But the rumor thing is that Zen... I don't remember if it's supposedly Zen 4 or Zen 5. I think it's Zen 5. I think it's supposed to be Zen 5. Codename Strix Point. And basically the rumor is it'll be on 3 nanometer, which I think everyone, finds believable. But the thing that kind of makes the story more interesting is that supposedly it will employ a heterogeneous design, a hybrid design, in other words, a big little design.
You want to escort us? Is that...
Which, it was funny, some people trying to characterize that as, well, all these people making fun of Intel for going to that. It's like, well, I mean, AMD is doing it, so, where are you now with your hypocrisy kind of stuff? And it's like, it doesn't, right now it doesn't, I will admit it doesn't make sense to me to go to such a hybrid design for desktop. But that doesn't mean it can't be or won't be useful. And it's also, I mean, it's like I'm currently running on a 1950X, a Threadripper 1950X, a $1,000 CPU. That, as I recall, there are now, I think the 8-core, the modern 8-core, so that would be 5800X? Is that it? Is it 5700X? I don't remember all the names, but I'm pretty sure that the current 8-core from AMD outperforms it. It's like half the cores, half the number of threads, more performance. Now, I can definitely believe that in some tasks, like right now with all the capture and encoding being on the CPU, the extra threads of the 1950X might be better than the faster threads. But it's just, yeah, it's a lot better. So you could, because I think they were speculating that this would be like a oh wow, there's actually quite a few. I could believe that you could have, by that time especially, advanced enough cores that, yes, they're technically the slow cores, but can handle stuff that still have a little bit more. But can handle stuff that prior generations struggled with. That's the nature of technological innovation, which I love, by the way. I love the fact that the 16 cores are ignoring the whole availability thing, but they are very accessible today. They didn't used to be. Yeah, I can keep it. So personally, to me, it's like, I mean, if we can get decent cores in there, because by that time you may have the low power cores being on like the level of, say, Zen Plus or Zen 2. It's like those are still pretty good. Those are still quite good. They won't be as good as what the high power cores are, but you may still be able to achieve something there that would be very positive. Then, of course, in theory, you might see a you might see ARM integrated in there, which is reasonable because there had been a design plan that AMD had. Was it the K8 or was it something else? I can never remember the name of it. That was going to integrate. Come on, brain, turn over. Was going to integrate in their ARM core. What the heck? Don't know why that just happened. It just alt-tabbed out, basically. I'm not sure why. Hang on just. Let me just. Oh, yeah, I can close that tab. Yeah, no idea. Yep, missed. But yeah, AMD had a plan years ago that has seemingly been abandoned, but I don't know if there's ever been a statement indicating that yes, it is in fact abandoned, or if it's just a not talked about anymore. But that would have brought ARM and x86 onto the same chip from AIM. So who knows? Maybe that'll still happen. But it is chiplets. Basically, everybody recognizes those are the future of high-performance computing. Just for mass production, they're more convenient. For potentially mixing and matching parts, which is what Intel is really wanting to. Well, that's what they're really focusing on, at least in the marketing. And I don't doubt in the technology as well, but I mean, they're pushing that to people whenever there's news about this stuff. That's what they're talking about. So it's not surprising that a big little type design will come to traditionally x86 processor. I mean, yeah, so it's not that big a deal, but it will be interesting to see what it ultimately is and how well it works. Because it's also, What's the context? Dr. Ian Cutress, on his Tech Potato channel, talked about this stuff. And I got distracted, so I don't remember what my next point was going to be concerning it. I can recommend his Tech Potato YouTube channel, though. They are interesting and sometimes also amusing. He can be a funny guy. Damn, what was it that crossed my mind? It's like, yeah, I should mention that. That's relevant. Nope, it's just gone. I cannot think of it. And that really does annoy me. One thing that I did cover recently, though, was a wafer scale chip design that's for AI. And just, it's worth thinking about that. Wafer scale. Okay? That's big. And this thing's actually selling. Like, it has uses. It's expensive, but it is filling a need. So, yeah. For anyone that's... Yeah. That is kind of funny. It's like, while some of the industry is going towards chiplets because it's easier to mass produce them, you can combine them together, get different properties, get the different properties that you want. And it's like, you got that on one hand, and then at the same time, you also have a company that is literally making the entire wafer a chip. Damn, I really cannot remember what it was that crossed my mind concerning one of his recent videos that was relevant. The next thing I got on the list here is an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting one. So, is it next week? It might be the week after, but like early the week after.
Look, you're under. One more party coming.
The Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, which I don't know what or when exactly, but I will try to do something with that. It's just since I only got the 2 GPUs that I can, even run it with. But I would like to look at some, like, DLSS 1.0, DLSS 2.0 stuff. I do kind of want to do that. But in the FAQ, and it has now been removed. It was there on Thursday. Today's Friday, because remember I record these a day ahead. In the FAQ for it, 4A Games said to answer the question of will we see Fidelity FX Super Resolution being supported in the future, and the answer was no. That they won't add it, they won't specifically enable it because it isn't compatible with their rendering system. And it definitely provoked some reactions from people. But it's just very interesting that they even talked about it. Because it's space to descend, not left. Not left. Anyway. In order for 4A Games to even make such a comment, that means that they do know, it has been shared with them how it will work and what it needs access to in the engine. Which does mean one unfortunate thing, that the solution will not be so general that it can be applied to anything. So for somebody hoping that, and yeah, it would have been nice if it could have been like a driver side thing, although maybe parts of it could be. Maybe parts of it could be. That does not appear it will be likely. It's like maybe the temporal elements can't, require special integration, but to go to that. But the other enhancement portions, maybe those would work, akin to SMAA. Since that is, the temporal components are not always there, it's a morphological engine that's the basis for it all, regardless. So could could we potentially see some things split out, but it's like, we're not going to add that, only part of it. I don't know. That's sheer speculation. But
I'm going. Wait here.
It's just interesting to me to see how some people have been talking about this. Because I still believe that the comment a month ago, apparently, felt like it was longer than that, concerning, it was a statement about the status of the technology. And I have felt, it's like how I read the statement, it didn't sound, all that troubling to me. To me, I read it as, they know what they want to do, they just haven't decided how exactly they want to do it. But some people take that as, oh, they have no idea. The technology is still just, like a name on a piece of paper kind of thing. Name up on a board. But this confirms the method is known. That they have figured that out, and for whatever reason it is incompatible with 4A's game engine, which is a single game engine that is also worth noting. Alright, fine. Let's do this fun one. And it's also a game engine that, 4A Games has a strong and long-standing relationship with NVIDIA. It's really not surprising that, you might not see AMD having a presence in it. Or at least not a strong presence. Yeah. But yeah, I always interpreted that original statement as being we don't know exactly how we want to implement. Like, we have the algorithms, but that doesn't mean we know, like, do we want it running on these cores, do we want to run it, with this optimization, with that optimization, with this hardware in the GPU, with that hardware in the GPU. So, yeah, and this, I feel, does kind of justify my feeling on that, if only because of the whole, it's like, they clearly have access to it. It must exist in a form enough for them to be able to determine, is this something that they could integrate? Which is also good as far as that meaning it might be nearer than some believe, than some thought. Will be interesting to see, and hopefully it will also be as hardware agnostic. It's apparently not going to be software agnostic, but as hardware agnostic as other features in other technologies in Fidelity FX are. And it will be interesting to see, just because I could understand somebody saying that damn, dude.
It's unprotected.
Like the whatever Fidelity FX Super Resolution is, it needs to beat DLSS 1.0 because that was garbage. I mean, it was a very bad implementation of that technology. But it doesn't necessarily need to be on the level of 2.0. As far as image quality. Performance, I'm not so good about, to be honest. It's like, if it can be close to 2.0, but have broader adoption capability, and like the whole it works on GPUs. It doesn't work on these specific GPUs, but just GPUs in general. It could still be something a lot of developers choose to use.
Drifter, we know of your deeds here. We smelly, dirty, unaffiliated sandbugs know you somehow got reason to mess with Warlord Schroeder's caca. Accept our praise and hear me now. That big camp, they call it Submarine. It's big time important to the Warlord. If you're looking to attack it, there's 2 entrances inside. Beware their belter, though. When he starts yelling, they all mad.
Okay. No gate. I don't want to be locked in. Okay, good. They actually run off, which is helpful.
Got it. You shoot the flare, and Chum Bucket comes to the rescue. Yes.
I remember those colors.
I'm gonna try to take out the war cry from outside. I think. Oh yeah, I can do. There we go. So I kind of said it, but I didn't clarify it. That point from the FAQ has been taken down. It's no longer up on the site, but there were plenty of places that covered it. So if you want to see the quote, you can find it. I didn't cover it because it's like, this is like quasi-rumor. And also I'm not sure how well I could cover it without getting to my own personal opinion about. It's like, this is obviously, you know, my interpretation that this means obviously the method is known, it has been determined, it's just a question of how they may want to implement it in the hardware specifically. And one thing that has also occurred to me that I am curious about, and I could believe AMD would consider it, would have it in their like on their board when considering the design for the technology, how VRS may interact with it. And I say that because I don't know if DLSS can currently support being done with VRS. Because you know, then you're reducing the shading rate in spots. I'm not sure if that's something DLSS can really work with. But having a technology that can apply such enhancements as DLSS does, and as the FSR should as well, is expected to, having that be able to work with VRS, I think could be a significant boon. Because personally, I do consider VRS a more interesting technology than DLSS, since it can significantly improve performance without the general compromise to image quality. Because DLSS, it runs the entire image at a lower resolution.
Company! Get in there!
It's not selective like VRS is meant to be. And part of the reason why I say I could believe AMD would have that on their chalkboard, their whiteboard, talking about what they want in super resolution, that's mainly because of the fact that, it's fidelity effects. And one of the other fidelity effects things is a VRS solution. So it's like it would be in the same family. So that's why it would make sense to me that that it would be considered. That definitely is speculation on my part. It would make sense. What else have I got? Oh, I forgot that supple. The last couple things I have in there I actually did cover, because they're not just rumor or rumor-like. Some news from Humble Bundle that is not really good news. So I guess, just in case there are those that don't know, Humble Bundle started over a decade ago, and it started with a Humble Indie Bundle, where basically it was a collection of indie games, independently developed games, and you could pay what you wanted for this bundle. And depending on how much you paid, you got, there were different tiers to it. So like, the first two may only give you like 2 or 3 games, the second tier adds 2 or 3 more, third tier, top tier adds, if you want that. You get the idea. But it was you could pay what you want for this. So much of it would go in, but you pay what you want for it, and you could also control where the money goes. You could have somewhat, what you pay go just to the developers. You could have some would be it was referred to as a tip, actually, to the to Humble Bundle. And you could also have, even all of it, if you wanted to, go to charity. This news from Humble Bundle is that they are doing away with the sliders. And in fact, I believe they already have. They're also going to update the UI for the bundles into something that is... I can understand why people looking at it might think that, oh, this is better. It's not, though. It's like objectively worse. And I will get into that. But I first want to just go over the whole stuff with the sliders. Because this, as it is now, without the sliders, you can't say that, yes, I want more to go to charity. And apparently it'll just be fixed options, with the highest for charity being 15%. And you need to click through a button for additional... What was it called? Additional distributions? Because it's, how the money gets distributed. You have to click through that and select the extra for charity, and it triples it to 15%. Yeah, no. I mean, it's part of the reason that I like so much getting the Humble Bundles is because it was a neat way to support charity quite significantly in some cases. It seems like you could give a fair amount of money that way. And there were people that would spend like $1,000. And I'm sure a healthy portion of that, not all of it, was going to charity. And this, however, basically will end that. Because I can definitely believe that most people that are like, yeah, I'll spend $1,000 that way to help charity get some fun games and probably help the developers, will probably be like, no, why would I do that instead of just like donating directly? Now that it's you've cut it so significant. And true, I haven't really seen a bundle that's caught my eye for quite a while now. I've picked up some of the Humble Choice things though. But it's, I'm just, this doesn't inspire me to make new purchases. Now I will grant, they do state one thing that's like, yeah, that is true. I cannot deny that it is true that you don't have the sliders with Humble Choice, you don't have the sliders with the Humble Store. They've never had those. I recognize that. But it's also, the bundles are what you started with. They are the unique thing. And those sliders are, as I was saying, they're what attracted people to doing it probably. So to do away with that is really only a negative. And while it's true that you might not... there we go. You might not be able to find another place that donates any of the any of the proceeds to charity, it still runs into the whole, yeah, but why should we not just donate directly to the charity? It's like what you're offering is so small now. Yeah. I can do this.
This might fall.
Where's in the house of the car? Damn it.
Come on.
What does it mean?
There we go. Okay, this is too slow. Do it this way, which might hurt some. Not really. A little bit. Very little bit. But yeah, so I definitely feel it is shooting themselves in the foot doing that. But I also will say that if they wanted to do it where it's like, no, we keep the sliders, you can put as much as you want to charity, but have like minimum percentages or minimum dollar amounts even, or something like that, to ensure that some will go to the developers, some will go to them for the operating cost. It's like, that would have been fine. I would have been okay with that. I'm sure the majority of other people would have been okay with that. You know, so long as it's still a, hey, I'm going to spend $25 on this bundle, whatever, and I want it to be, like, as much as possible goes to the charity. But that is what has been taken away, so, yeah. The other thing, they're changing the UI, the display, the page for the bundles. And I can understand why some people would look at them and be like, oh, this is better. But I would also say you're wrong. It's different. It isn't better. It is actually objectively worse. Because it actually provides less information and doesn't reduce the amount of interaction necessary to take advantage, to fully read the thing. So, with this new UI, it seems like the design intent is to get away from having to scroll to see the contents of the bundle. Instead, it's going to be tabs. So you click on a tab and you see what a higher tier adds to it. Okay? I get it. You don't want to do the scrolling anymore. Here's the problem, though. You've replaced scrolling with clicking. You have also made it... You've also removed the ability to tell what is on a specific tier for two reasons. One is at the highest tier, it just shows everything. There is nothing that separates... This one is in a history. Okay, history. There's nothing that actually identifies at like the highest tier what is the tier 1 stuff, what is the tier 2 stuff. There's nothing that actually identifies that. It's just there. It just shows all of them. At least based on the preview that was shared in the blog post about. So you're actually removing that information now, so that it is objectively worse because you have taken information away. It also, with the tabbing, as I already said, it's like, okay, you now have to click as opposed to just scrolling to see the information and to be able to easily compare it. It's like, no, this is objectively worse. So it may look nicer, but it is objectively worse. Where is this history? It could be up there. I think it actually is, but I wanted to check around first. Another issue, and it is significant, is the,
I know for a fact that many items of great value were carried within that storm. If we entered it, we would be greatly rewarded.
I don't really want to... Okay, there's the storm, though. Yeah, I don't have to... I don't have time to try to get that history while I get back to the car. It would be most unsafe. There. Whoops. But another issue that it's like, yeah, I get how it looks nicer, but it is inferior with the tab design is the, whoa! Is that the items reflow. So, and the way they reflow isn't helpful. It adds, so when you look at, when you look at like the tier 1, ow. When you look at the like tier 1, so lowest tier, you will see, it's like just the like 1 or 2 games there. If you then go to tier 2 or whatever, what you will see come on, let me get ahead of them, or at least alongside them. What you will see when you go up a tier, though, is it gets, the list gets added to, but at the front of it. So the list of games, or list of content, is always going to reflow with stuff being added, with the stuff being pushed down to the bottom, so the order changes every single time. That's not helpful. I mean, it's really not. Because it's going to make it harder to compare the offerings, not easier. So yeah, it's really a bad design. But it's exactly what they're going for. It seems. I mean, it's, and people are praising that design. It's like, and to be fair though, a lot of people can tell you, both from if they've looked at reviews that I've done, or if they know me from doing QA work, I will be a stickler with UI stuff. It's like, I'm the guy that will find the typos, that will find the nonsensical stuff, will point out the whole, you know, you shouldn't have reflow this way. It should be added, excuse me, the additional content from the tier should be added at the end, not at the beginning. I'm the guy that's going to spot that stuff. I can definitely believe that a lot of people don't spot that. They and not in, you know, a way to, I'm not saying that to like insult them or to be arrogant, but just you don't always think about the UI. You don't think about the repercussions of certain aspects to the UI design. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I catch that stuff. So I can see that, well, yes, the UI, it looks nicer, but I can still see that it has these fundamental flaws to it, though, and doesn't actually solve the problem you're claiming it will solve. Because it's also, it's like, oh, this way you don't have the scrolling. Yeah, unless you have a bundle that has like a couple dozen items in it, which would be a lot of the bundles, which is the majority of what they seem to offer today. You're still gonna have to scroll that. So, what have you actually gained? The answer is nothing.
My warrior sight, and we were truly chosen!
If you say so.
Legend is strong.
Oh, okay.
Stay away from him. He's a big driver.
So yeah, I am not happy with what they have decided to do. Yeah. All I can really hope for then is, and probably won't happen, would be Humble Bundle backing off on these changes and be like, okay, we're gonna undo this stuff because clearly it was not a good idea based on everybody's responses. But the problem is that it might be enough of a bureaucracy kind of thing where, and I've run into stuff like this where it's like, you know, somebody comes in, they've got the idea and everybody will just like nod their head to it. And it's like, no, you're destroying the thing. How much does that actually help? You're, you know, destroying the good things here because you're saying that, oh, it'll be better, but it's like, no, you're destroying, you're getting rid of the thing that made it good. You're not trying to improve it, you're just getting rid of it for what you think will be better. And it's like, that's not a healthy way to approach things. It really isn't. Like, your solution... If you want to improve something, you start from that thing. You don't start by throwing it out and trying something. Yeah, the maggot farm actually will be. Alright. Yeah, that's all the scavenger stuff. There was... How long have I been going? 40 minutes. Oh, I like that. I just saw I got an email. The Humble Spring sale is live. I may look. There might be some stuff there. Probably not, though. There's probably nothing I'll get. I am thinking about picking up, the Lego Star Wars... What is it technically called now?
They say that you are on your way to becoming a waste.
I did not mean... I meant to grab Chum's buggy. I'll take care of that minefield straight away. Oh, that's right. Oh wait, no, I can do that. I'll be actually getting to it, so I'm gonna wait on that one. But the Lego Star Wars games, and there's actually supposed to be a collection that will cover all 9 films coming out later this year, but I don't know when. So, yeah, I don't know when. So I can't really plan on that. But and I actually do have this. Oh yeah, that's right. The Complete Saga, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, because I do actually have that. On the Wii. And it's just, yeah, it would be nice to, yeah, why not? So you get that started there. So I would like to have that on the PC. Heck. Let me see. Yeah, it'll take a while before I can so do that. And that's, you know, just on sale at places. I'll probably get the GOG version. Because of May 4th. So there's a whole bunch of Star Wars games on sale, and some of them, you know, definitely are. Like, I can recommend the Lego Star Wars games. Those are, well, the Lego Star Wars, the first Lego Star Wars game, which was actually the prequel trilogy, and the original trilogy that was released later. I can definitely recommend those two. Those were fun. And the original Lego Star Wars game, that was the prequels, was the first Lego game of these Lego video games. And I do feel like sharing that. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. that is part of the reason why I'm thinking about getting it. Also, I think I can do some videos with it, with the gaze tracker. I think it worked well there. What this guy has to say.
The iron vice of Gastown's loosening its grip here. Something a stranger, crazy-eyed and kill-frenzied, did this gruesome work all by himself. Yep, that's just what I heard.
Hi, nice to meet you. But yeah, I don't know what's up with the... Is it the Skywalker Saga? Is that what they're giving the name to the Lego game that's going to be all 9? And that's expected later this year? I would, you know, go for that, but it's like I don't even know when that's coming out, and it sounded like, from one thing that I saw, that they might be redoing aspects of it. Aspects of the games. Aw, man. Like giving new lines. Because it's like, originally, you didn't have audio. You didn't have voice work with it, or at least not original voice. That it was all basically told by pantomime. Which was part of the humor, too, as well.
It will tear that tire right off!
So if they are changing it to, even the old sections of it, yeah, that would disappoint me. Though if it had an option where you could, do either, that would be neat. I'd be down with that. But yeah, it's just one of those. Give me the originals. What a...
Wary of mines and explosives.
Come on, dog. Yeah, some other good Star Wars games. I particularly enjoy Star Wars Rebellion, which is a classic 4X game. But I can understand if that isn't received well by some, because it is an older 4X game. There's obviously Knights of the Old Republic, which is a classic BioWare RPG. It's been a while since I played it, and I can understand some saying, yeah, that's a bit rough. Although there are rumors, that, I don't remember what developer, but there are rumors that there's a developer actually working on a new version of it. Which, I mean, could be really cool. It really could. Rogue Squadron is there. Episode 1 Racer, Pod Racer. My brother had that in the N64. That was a fun game. Some of the newer games, like the newer Battlefronts, are on sale. Force Unleashed, which, man, the original Force Unleashed is interesting because it there were multiple versions of it. And I know this because I played them. I have it was later I played the PC version that I think they even label like the Ultimate Edition, but I actually pretty sure it does miss it. There are some missions it's lacking. Chum's over there. Because the Wii version actually has a mission in it that like no other version did. And it just slots in. It's in Crisis Remastered. Initially they had pulled out a VTOL mission. And it's like without it, I mean, if you know it's supposed to be there, you can miss it. But it's something that it doesn't need to be there. That's kind of like what that mission was in that was on the Wii version only. It was kind of like that. And that without it being there, you don't miss out on too much. But if you know it's supposed to be there, the void is felt. Because there is a story. It does provide some story stuff. Because it's like you going and rescuing Princess Leia. A young Princess Leia. It's something like that. I don't completely remember. But yeah, it is actually something that's different. And I don't think it was added to the Ultimate. And that was also... The original Force Unleashed was a fun addition to the Star Wars universe. Don't know if I'm just gonna shoot back this one.
Gotta get in there.
Fuck, guys. I actually be best to take them out.
Watch out! We're in his line of fire!
Force Unleashed 2 was not as good. It doesn't really matter if the camp's loaded. It looks like this is his way in. Oh wait, no it's not. It's a path. Aha! There's a point. There we go. Whee! Pretty sure he will explode. I don't think I just like gave him a ride. Could be wrong. Come on, really? There we go. Took a while, but I got him.
Tires all exposed!
This is gonna be bad. Oh wow, actually not so bad. What other class installed? I enjoyed Republic Commando, but it is awkward. I did install a demo of it a while ago, and it is awkward. It is kind of awkward compared to modern FPS. And I think I did see there is something about it being brought back. I just don't know in what character. By that I mean I don't know if it's like something that would come back as a like a remaster or like an actual rebuild. So like my issue, my saying that the controls are a little wonky. That is something that could be fixed with more of a rebuild kind of thing than a just like a remaster trying to improve the graphics.
Kill that rook! Aye, aye! I will defend her with my life! Bring it back out!
One thing also going back to the Force Unleashed on the Wii, one of the things that was really fun about that was you could actually, because in the Wii you had, the Wiimote and the nunchuck controller. The force powers were on the nunchuck controller, the lightsaber was on the Wiimote. So the controls for it were very nice on the Wii.
About this place.
It's just because it really did blend it nicely. That design. In fact, I don't think secret. I don't think it's even plugged in. That would be a fun game to replay. Yeah. On the Wii, I mean.
Throw this own great white! Get out of I was gonna kill him! Nothing!
I almost forgot, I could talk about that too. I have been working through the DLC of Immortals Phoenix Rising. So far I've done the first two, which are A New God and Myths of the Eastern Realms. I still have the Lost Gods expansion. That's the third and final one. That came out just last week. I still have that one to work through. hopefully I will have that done, like, next, over the weekend, basically. Hopefully I will have it done over the weekend and therefore be able to, like, submit it early next week so it can go live. Where? Way. There. Build up. I'm not sure how much I really want to say about the... I guess I can say that. A new god is sort of a just collection of trials. Well, the vaults that were in the base game, it's sort of, you get a bunch of those to do. And some of them are not so good. It is the minority. Like, maybe a few that were definitely this is really bad. This is horrible and punishing and mean and all that. Most were pretty good. Some were actually clever. Some, did not necessarily exceed at being clever, at least in my opinion. But was still, good. They just, weren't necessarily clever. Whereas Myths of the Eastern Realm was more like a mini version of the game, set within Eastern mythology, Chinese mythology specifically. And its design was actually quite good in that, like, there was only one thing that ever frustrated me. It was more of it's like I'm trying to, balance between two things, and controlling it with switches on the ground that you have to, go back and forth standing on is very awkward. It was more of this is so awkward, why did you do it this way? Kind of frustration versus this is actually bad design frustration. And there was more. Hey, I don't want to spoil the reviews, but there's more to it. But just to give you an idea of that. And yeah, I don't know yet because I haven't touched the Lost Gods DLC. I'm looking forward to it though. Might be able to get to that later today. I don't know. It's just the timing and scheduling of things. It might have to wait until tomorrow. Whoops. Okay. Sorry, I just decided to look at my phone to clear the stuff on there. The notes, I mean. And there was a pop-up from Chrome. It's like, I don't know why. Because I don't even use Chrome. I don't know, maybe it updated and decided that, oh, I'm going to ask for this information, even though you don't use me. And that reminds me of something, at least I find a little amusing. There are different places and companies basically saying that, yeah, Google, your whole flock thing for, different means of tracking people, we're not doing that. We're not going to support that because, we don't like what it is that you're trying to do here. And neither do I. just this whole move away from tracker cookies, and it's like, okay, I can understand the idea of, hey, let's not use tracker cookies anymore. The problem is, but the problem is that at least with the tracking cookies, they're on your system, so you can do stuff to them, like block them, delete them, edit them. Whereas the system that Google seems to want to use, I'm not sure if it allows that. If you can have that kind of control over it. So I can definitely understand why there are various companies saying that, yeah, we're never going to adopt that. At least until they do. I mean, it's not like, Google hasn't bullied companies into doing what it wants to before. And not like, it may not try to do that again. I mean, Google is such a bad company in so many ways. Because, it's like, it is involved with developing standards for the web. And it will basically decide, nah, we're not going to obey any of them. It's like, we're just going to do it our own way so that it benefits Chrome. And it's also, I remember one thing, and yeah, this is from years ago. But the original version of Edge, the Microsoft Edge browser, it had a very good video acceleration method. It would actually be better, it would be more efficient, it would be faster than Chrome at YouTube. Well, Google didn't like that, so what did Google do? They put a invisible frame on top of it. Okay, so I do need this. That would basically block that acceleration from being applied.
That'd be the first place I'd look.
There's another place. That's when I need to slide in. I'm just... Okay, yeah, I want to get over there. Which I do from in here. Thanks. Don't see it. Don't see anything. Yeah, so it's, rather than try to figure out the acceleration, improve their own acceleration, or just leave it at that, Google's response was to do what they could to destroy a competitor's advantage. Yeah, not really a company I'd want to go to for developing standards, because it's like, nah, we'll just, do our own thing and screw you over in the process. What is... Do I need to destroy that? No, shouldn't have to. I see it? I can drop that, but I don't think I need to. What else can I talk about to at least fill time? Sadly, nothing really is coming to mind. I guess, there's some of the other news stuff, like, Evil Genius 2 has got a DLC coming out. Well, came out. Crap, now I don't remember. The Cabal Pack. That's it. That's the Cabal Pack. It adds a new henchman that you can get and stuff like that. And it does look neat. I don't have it. That's okay though. So I could probably request it. Okay, here we go. That. This. Maybe I should just drop all these. Just to make sure. Because I think there is a place in the game. I've already been there, maybe I haven't been there yet, I don't know. But I feel like I do remember at one point discovering that there are like sometimes insignia on the tanks, or at least with them. Okay. Well, I guess here's a question for you that's kind of related to the Immortals Phoenix Rising stuff. Concerning the myths of the Eastern Realms, how much interest is there? I'm just curious, and I know nobody watches this, but still, I'll just ask the question: how many people are interested or would be interested in games that do cover, that do cover Eastern mythologies and philosophy? Because, you know, if you grew up in the West as I have, you're mostly going to be exposed to more of the Western stuff, such as Greco-Roman myths, somewhat Egyptian, though that I think many would consider Near East versus being Western. But I'm just curious how many people are actually like, yes, would like to see more of that stuff. I do think it would be interesting. I would like to learn more about this stuff, and learning by a video game would be really cool. But it is also... I won't say one way or the other if this is the case or not the case. But, you know, a thought that did occur to me while playing Myths of the Eastern Realm was just the whole, is it... And what I'm playing an Eastern story set in Eastern mythology? Is it a Western story set in Eastern mythology? That is something that I do think would be difficult to always ensure you get right. But at the same time, you would need to somehow balance between them, because you don't want to use completely foreign concepts to a large section of the audience and not properly introduce them. Because then, you know, you're not gonna, you know, engage the people properly. Because there are definitely some concepts in Eastern religions, Eastern mythologies, like a lot of duality kind of things. You see that definitely in Hinduism. It's like that is not something you don't see. That is not something you see. It's not really that common. You don't see it much. There we go. Finally got around to how it was. I was trying to say "don't" in there. You don't see that much in the Western mythologies, so, you know, suddenly throwing that in there and not properly introducing it, I could understand that confusing people. So you would need to be careful with how that's handled. Okay, I am close to just saying screw it and looking this up. I think I just should, so that I can stop. Rec Hill. Mad Max Rec Hill. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I stopped talking both because I was reading, but also because I needed to get a drink of water. Yep, I see that there. Okay. Yeah, there's some stuff up there, so... Looks like I need to possibly go out and around. Nope, right here. Okay.
Oh, yes, I understand. If you need chum to come a-driving, just send a flare.
One thing that would also be interesting with greater focus, games focusing more on Eastern mythologies is which one. Because there's several. It's like China obviously has some, Japan has some, India has some. I can believe that there's potentially some that are unique for Korea, eastern parts of Russia. I mentioned, Egyptian mythology could technically be considered Near East and not Western, so you can cover that. There would be African mythologies, ancient mythologies from the Americas. I mean, there's a lot of mythologies that can be turned to for that, for new ideas and stuff. How long have I been going? I should stop. I know that. Okay, yeah, I definitely should stop. I just please. Okay. If I had an idea of where Minefield was, I would do that first. But instead, I'll just go there. No, I won't. I was like, it's right there. I can take care of the scarecrow, and then I can stop. So that way, it's something I don't need to do later. And by later, I mean next week.
Cast out from Balefire. Their leader, Jeet, judged me and found me wanting. No fighting spirit left. Too broken and old for their battles against the hordes of Gastown. So what'll it be? Help me with this loot and split it? Or corpse me and take it all?
Now with that, let's just fast travel here. And that's where I can end it. Okay. Alright, that's it really. I'll just see you next time. In a new week, which will also be a new month. So yeah, see you then.